Hi, welcome to the Soulless Vets podcast. I am Austin the Soulless Ginger Johnson, and this is Jason the Mustache Tolbert.
What up?
Today, we are going to be talking about our times in the military and what our lifestyles were kind of like. Jason, as you know, was Air Force. I, Austin, was in the Army. So we're going to kind of compare how Air Force life versus the Army life kind of was. And we are going off of our experiences, no one else's. This is purely just us. And far warning, there are going to be dark humor, most likely, and probably us cussing. So if you don't like that, then this is probably not for you. Agree, Jason?
I agree 100%.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we start off about our sponsor?
Absolutely.
That's right, guys. We got a sponsor.
Hell yeah.
Well, and this is for our gamers out there. So if you're listening and you're a gamer, this is kind of for you. We got sponsored by Doobie Energy. It's an energy drink company that allows you to have faster reaction time paired with laser sharp focus. If you want to start winning more, Doobie made this for you. Doobie's premium gaming energy drink. It gives you laser focus, gives your brain food, and it makes you better. It has 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving, all natural, and it has no sugar, maltodextrin, artificial colors, or dyes. It's no bullshit, guys. It also doesn't give you those horrible crashes or jitters or angst. If you want to save 10% on your order, put in, what was that code, Jason?
It is the Soulless Vets, and you can save 10% on your order. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Doobie, for sponsoring us. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Now, to get back to our topic, Jason,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us a little bit about how Air Force life was for you? I know it was probably a lot cushier than the Army's a little bit. I don't know. It could be a lot more busier, but that's what we're here to find out.
Well, I guess it just depends on the cushy part. But yeah, I mean, every branch is different, of course. Since, I was in the Air Force and you were in the Army, going to be great for our listeners to kind of find out, especially if they're thinking about joining one of these.
Hell yeah.
Right? So they can kind of
Go
get an
Air
idea.
Force.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said before, I joined when I was in Tennessee, and went to Mountain Home, Idaho, and Yokota, Japan, and F.E. Warren in Wyoming, and Dyess down in Texas. But as far as the Air Force goes, I mean, their basic training is nowhere near what any of the other branches are. I think nowadays, though, if you watch any of the videos online, really, everybody's kind of gotten softer now.
Yeah, and they don't really yell at them anymore. That's why I heard is they're not allowed to yell at them anymore.
They got stress cards and shit too.
Stress cards.
Yeah, which is stupid. And they
Interesting.
don't iron no more, because people are hurting themselves. Anyway,
they're probably doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be here no more. So it's like, it's fucking stupid. But yeah, I got yelled at a lot. Got fucking beds turned over and lockers thrown on the floor and all that. And
I mean, you did come in at an older time too.
Yeah, I came in the tail end of the 90s because I joined in 98. So it was a little bit less stressful than what somebody would have went in, in the 70s and 80s, but still, we still got rid of a lot of people at that time that was too weak or soft, however you want to look at it, for the Air Force, which is weird. But that was fun. In our tech school, I mean, we get regular jobs. I mean, just like I'm sure the Army has regular jobs and other branches too. So we just went straight from basics straight into tech school, living in our dormitories. We did have to share rooms. But we had the big open bays for showers and pissers and shitters and whatnot.
Showers.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Just be careful not to drop that soap.
Absolutely. Unless you wanted to. But anyway, but that was pretty good. I mean,
the showers or
no
tech school?
No, the tech school. I mean, I guess they wanted to kind of keep it because you had the base showers and basics. So they kind of kept that in into tech school, so you didn't get too comfortable with everything. But it was still dormitories. You know, you share a room with somebody. But after that life, you go to your first base, and
Were you scared to go to your first unit?
I was, but I think it was only because of the unknown, right? Like not knowing of like how it's going to be. Like you're getting fucked with and fucked with and fucked with and
fucked with
basic and tech school. Yeah, and fucked with.
Oh, okay. Just had to make sure.
Yeah,
there's
no
other,
definitely getting fucked with.
There's no more other fuck withs.
No,
All right.
I think that's the last one. And yeah, dude, it was like, so you don't know. But like, fuck, when I showed up to my first duty station, man, it was like, fuck, everybody was laid back. They're like, whoa, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? You know? Well,
so 100% different
people,
from what I dealt with.
my the same rank and whatnot, you know, because everybody. Leadership, though, is a different story, right? You know, it's still back in the day where it was, you know, if I could stand up, if I can get your bearings together and do all that shit. Parade rest and all that. Leadership comes in the room. But yeah, it really wasn't. It was scary on the way.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you just don't know, right?
So for me, if we're starting like back at basic training, I went to Fort Benning for infantry. So I didn't have an AIT or tech school. So I had what was called OSUT training. So I stayed there for basic, same drill instructors all the way through pretty much my infantry training portion of it through the whole time. So that was kind of the difference with me. It's not like that for every MOS in the Army. Most of the time, OSUT is for like the combat MOSs or jobs. So that's kind of how mine went. So our drill instructors were pretty much dickheads to us. They pretty much just, you know, what you think of as a drill instructor, not necessarily as strict and ferocious as the Marines instructors, but ours were very similar like that. And I came in 2014, so kind of a weird time frame. And so I was part of that Iraq dudes that were starting to get the fuck out or retire, and or the Afghan dudes, because Afghanistan was still going pretty strong at that time frame. So they were kind of, you know, we still had those combat vets kind of dicking us down. Then once I graduated basic, I got my first duty station was Fort Hood. So we're already told rumors about Fort Hood when we're there. And my drill instructors pretty much like, yeah, your unit's gonna fucking dick you down. They're gonna be complete assholes. Like, you're gonna want to commit suicide. Like, that's so like it put a fear in a lot of us newer kids coming in because
I didn't have none of that.
Yeah. Because like, but the thing though is like I already expect it because again I'm a military brat. So like if you kind of think of like Jarhead when he's going to his first unit and them fucking tying him to the bed to fake brand him, right? Like that is what played in my head when I was meeting my unit for the first time.
That makes sense.
So that was kind of my fear. It wasn't like anything like I was expecting it, but I was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna get fucked with. I get to the unit and immediately the fucking E4s start fucking yelling at me. That's how I got. They're like, what platoon are you in? I'm in this platoon. Oh, fuck that platoon. Yeah. It's like, all right, cool. Got it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, my experience was 100% different from yours. Wow. Like, once they was like, all right, here's your fucking barracks room, because I wasn't married at the time. I was engaged. And so I was like, all right, here's your room. Literally, I tossed my shit into my fucking room. We locked the door, and I got smoked for 3 fucking hours right after. Just because I was new. So, and if you don't know what a smoke session is, it's pretty much you're working out until whoever's telling you to do it is done. So it was interesting. Like, and so later on, I kind of figured out why they did that to see if I was going to quit on them, and two, if they were like to kind of see how mentally strong and shit I was. But then it then just turned into me getting smoked. It came off all privates at the time in my platoon and ended up getting smoked together. Then the E4s like played a lot of fuck games. So like that's where a lot of I was still part of that hazing part.
Oh yeah.
When you first join. And again, so like when the drill instructor says, "Oh yeah, they're gonna fuck with you," like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm being a ginger on top of it. I definitely got fucked with because my hair is fucking bright. So it was just kind of like one of those things where I was expecting it. I was still a little bit scared, but eventually I understood why it happened. Does that make sense? And like because honestly, after all the privates started getting smoked together, we kind of all just kind of like bonded a little bit. Does that make sense? Like what hazing's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. And not where it goes overboard, where you're actually wanting someone to commit suicide or hurt themselves or hurt someone else. It was, they were tough and it was kind of a shitty situation, but looking back on it, it toughened you up a little bit and you built those bonds. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was kind of like, and obviously when you had your E5s aboves, you listen to them, you stand parade rest, you do all that shit. And, you know, giving the proper customs and courtesies. Yes. You know what I mean? It was a very different experience from by the time I left, because once 2016 happened, that's when they put the whole no hazing stuff on in the military. They were kind of really focusing on that no hazing type of mentality. And so from our first experiences are completely different already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like I got fucked with pretty hard. They were mostly testing the waters. Yours seemed a little bit more chill and relaxed. Obviously, you had the NCOs and higher ranking that you still had to do customs courtesies.
Oh yeah,
and they're always going to be a little bit tougher on you as well. And then after your first unit, how was life?
Life was good, man. Life was good. So when you go TDYs and stuff, you know, the temporary duty stuff we talked about in the last episode. They put you up in like 4-star hotels, man, and you get per diems and shit, and you get good food and stuff. And that's the thing that pisses other branches off, because
it does.
Because they see us, but I saw how the other half lived though, because when I did a TDY to Korea one time, and we were doing an exercise. Well, we were just there to help out, unload bags and stuff for the Army and the Marines when they came to do an exercise in Korea. We lived in Tent City with them. Like we were there when we got there first.
What part of Korea?
Osan. It was Osan.
Where did you guys have Tent City at?
It was on the very back side of base.
Okay. By there.
Like if you come in the gate, right, you go straight down the road, past the dormitories and all that, all the way to the end, and then you take a left, and there's like nothing else.
Oh, I know where you're
That's where
about.
the tent.
Okay, yeah.
So we were out there with them. So we saw how the other half lived when they went on, you know, their.
We were happy to just have a tent.
Yeah, yeah. So we're like, and we had a couple of people on my team there, because we brought like 10 people with us, because we had a lot of shit that we had to do because of all the stuff that was going on. So a couple of those guys were like bitching, and they're like, man, why are we living in the hotel, man? Why we gonna stay like this? Because they're sleeping on cots and shit, which I didn't give a fuck, man. I slept. I didn't care. So it was like, I still have one of those cots at my house. But I'm like, dude, stop being a bitch, right?
Yeah.
And so it is kind of humbling, right, when you see that and you get to experience that. But yeah, that's the reason why a lot of branches hate us, because of that. They see us bougieing it up and these luxury hotels and shit.
Man, I picked the wrong fucking branch, I tell you. No, infantry is a little different. Like, we're lucky to get tents. I mean, not nowadays.
Yeah.
It's being more common nowadays to have tents around. At least by the time I got out, I started noticing that tents were being used more often. I remember always having to use like my poncho liner
Mm-hmm.
or just my poncho just to create a small tent or something just for rain, so we wouldn't have as much range or around our sleeping area,
Yeah.
or at least our sleeping bag. Or you try to find a hill so the water just goes down. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of differences like with that type of stuff. So like at least my infantry experience, like if we got just even put into a tent or a hotel or just anything like a barracks, because when I went to Osan for a training event to test the security forces,
Mm-hmm.
we got put in the one of the old condemned officers barracks, and we were just happy it had fucking carpet. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
this is where this is where some of our experiences are a little different. Is I was
Yeah.
used to like roughing it out outside, and
Yeah.
like cots were super nice for us, at least, anyways, or even just a bunk bed. Like
Mhm.
whenever we had bunk beds, we were like, this shit's fucking nice. Like we enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because at NTC we used cots a lot before we went out to train, and then in Korea when you're up closer to the DMZ, where I was at most of the time,
Mhm.
we there's a big ass training area out up there that we would go to quite often. I forgot the name of it, but they would stick us in this open bay area with just bunk beds, aisles and aisles of bunk beds, and we enjoyed that shit because, like, yeah, we are always gonna bitch and complain, but in reality, we fucking that shit was nice to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like our life was super outside, like, so anything comfort wise, we as simple as just carpet on the floor, we're happy.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how our life was, at least for training and stuff, or even for majority of our TDYs. Like we didn't really go on TDYs. We did
Yeah.
training, so we would go out to the field all the fucking time and do training. And so we'd find ways to keep ourselves warm, happy, or whatever, and just in a foxhole and the forest, and like in the back of Bradley, like what we started doing is we would set up a couple ammo cans and an MRE box, and we would play spades until it was our
Hell
next time to
yeah.
go onto the range for the Bradley. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we just found simple ways to make it more enjoyable. Like
Yeah.
I've been anywhere from like negative 20 degrees to like 120 degrees of type of environments,
Yeah.
and you learn to adjust. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I said, we didn't really do TDYs, but we did a lot of field training.
Yeah. And that was like at your units, right? At your bases that you were at.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. There would be times where I wouldn't be home for weeks, days, or even months. I've been stationed at a unit, and I would be out in the field. I think the longest one was like 3 months. I was literally legitimately outside in the field for 3 months nonstop. So, like, yeah, we're home, we're home, but we're out in the field.
Yeah. I think they do that to you guys. I mean, I don't know, but
So-
because you guys are always boots on the ground, you guys are like
Yeah,
out in the shit always.
yeah,
When
and
it comes to
that's a
war
big
and
part of
stuff,
it.
so-
Like, I remember when I think I was like a E3 or something like that, and I remember somebody telling me like they do a lot of this shit to make us angry and miserable, so we kill better. You know what I mean?
See, that would make sense.
And
Yeah.
I can see, like, honestly, I could see part of their view, but at the same time, you don't want us too disgruntled,
No.
because then we just say fuck this. That fuck this mentality, but at the same time, that fuck this mentality helps us accomplish a lot of missions, and what a lot of people don't understand. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck that dude, like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Fuck this situation. It's either me or them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's, I think, our differences. And I roughed it. You seemed like you had it was a little bit more cozy.
In the lap of luxury.
But
there.
I'm not saying all Air Force stuff is like that, because there are times I've heard stories of, like you just said, you guys were out in the tents, right? I've heard where there was a couple of Air Force dudes who were doing another training event or something like that, and their fucking building was pretty much collapsing on them. You know what I mean? So I think it really depends on what your MOS does, because there's a lot of Army jobs that have more cushy experiences than what I had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see that too. Yeah.
So I think it really depends on like what your job is and what your unit decides to do with you
Yeah.
guys. Because, like, Army will always try and, at least in my opinion, the Army will always try to make it cheap and try and save a cost. So why
Well,
put them? Why put them in a place when you can just hand them $100 tent and have them all sleep outside instead of spending a fucking room at like $200 per person? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus, they can save all that money for ammo and
Yeah, exactly.
everything else.
And we do more ammo training than you guys do, but you guys shoot bigger calibers.
Well, yeah. Because they do have the range. Well, up in Mountain Home, they have a range out there. They have one here. Anybody that has fighters.
Yeah.
For the heavies, they have drop zones.
How was your home life with you being in like the Air Force side of it?
I mean, so we lived in base housing for the majority of my career. We bought a house after. Well, in Texas, we bought a house. I've been in for like 18 years, and then I finally bought a house because I was like, fuck living on base because the rules and shit. And we was gonna probably end up staying there anyway, so it was like, we'll just buy a house. Obviously, we didn't because we're here in Utah, but nah, I mean the houses are nice.
Like, do you guys deal with like black mold and
No,
the shit falling apart?
Nah, on
base housing.
Yeah, so my first, when me and my wife got married, the first house that we moved into had the lead-based paint.
Mm-hmm.
It had asbestos in the tiles on the floor, and we lived in that for a couple of years. And then they built new houses on the other side of base where the hospital was, and they moved us in there and tore all those houses down. And since then, all the houses were relatively, newish, right? But yeah, they didn't have those issues. As soon as there was any issues, they were like, no. They moved people out and take care of that, and then move somebody else into that.
Yeah, and to add to kind of your side, I was an Air Force brat, so my dad was in the Air Force. So when I was born, I don't remember us living on base housing in Hawaii because that's where I was born. But when we moved to England, I know we lived outside of base in a small area called Red Lodge Village. And the cul-de-sac that we had was primarily military Air Force guys.
Yeah.
So we kind of had like our small own little community outside of the base, which was kind of cool. And we always lived outside of base. So that's why I was wondering, like, was it base housing? Was it?
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked about the black mold and that type of stuff, when my wife and I first got married, we lived on base housing. It was kind of a unique situation at Fort Hood where we were at. It was on base, off base housing. So it was like a housing community that the base set up or post set up, but it was outside the gates.
Oh,
So it was kind of a weird situation with that. But our shit had black mold that they just came in and spray painted with like white paint. It was just old fucking. I'm telling you.
Oh my god.
Shit, the barracks were just as bad, if not worse. But again, this was at Fort Hood, like in 2015. You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like our housing. Like there was always something that needed to be fixed at ours. Then after we moved to Colorado, I was like, "Fuck that." Like we're not living on base housing again. Plus, there was a 3-month wait, and my wife and I had been living in a hotel for 2 months when we found out it was a 3-month wait. And so we were like, okay, fuck that. So we went and bought ourselves a house outside the base, obviously then. But from hearing a lot of my buddies at Colorado, it's like especially towards the end, it's like the houses just start falling apart and all this shit. And we're like, well, that was a good decision. Then even at Fort Campbell, there was a lot of problems when I was there with base housing. So I was just like, that's kind of interesting, like, because I've seen some of the, especially up here on Hill Air Force Base, like, because I used to hang out. A lot of my friends were up there, and I've been in some of those, like, especially the newer houses. They were pretty fucking nice. Like they're like Air Force's housing is getting pretty nice.
I think it's because they have it contracted out. So they have their housing contracted out. This other company, I can't remember the name of it, but they had it down in Texas too.
Mhm.
So they take care of everything. It's like you're renting,
Mm.
but because the BAH that you get, that you would get for housing, if you bought a house,
It goes straight to.
it just goes straight to them. They
That's what
take
ours
care of
did.
everything, and they do all this stuff. So, so I think that's why a lot of that is a little bit better than what it used to be. Because I know the house in Texas that we lived in was really nice compared to, say, the one in Wyoming. No, because the Wyoming was the same way. So, yeah, never mind. I can't, because all the houses, except for that first one when me and my wife got married.
It's funny because like when I was stationed at Fort Hood, and every time we had an Air Force dude come to Air Force, they would get a higher per diem to stay at one of our places. And I remember me and my buddies joking about that because like they got like an extra $150 a day they were there just because of our housing.
I gotta make up for it, man. I used that shit.
I just thought that shit was fucking funny. I was like, "Where's our fucking per diem?" But is there anything else that you can think of on how we can compare the two?
I don't. So when you were living in the barracks,
Okay.
so
I was only there for like I think it was like 3 months.
So Chahofit,
Okay.
how was the, like? What kind of options? Like, what kind of spread would you have as far as options go?
Okay, so I've eaten at the Chow a few times because when we were deployed, quotation marks, deployed
Right, yeah.
to Korea, we had to eat at the DFACs, obviously.
Mhm.
Then Afghanistan was a whole different
Yeah,
thing.
that one everybody.
So, honestly, food wasn't great.
Okay. Okay.
It wasn't the worst. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
To me, the food, because again, this was about like a time span of 3 or 4 months after basic training.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The food was very similar.
Yeah.
So for me at least it was, but it was like they have a lot of options. Obviously they have a meal for the day of like what their main meal is for the day, but you could still get a burger or healthier options. You know,
Yeah.
they would always have something else besides just the main meal. Now I'm not saying like it was the gourmet chef fucking foods. Most of it was kind of bland and just kind of like you ate it because you needed the fucking energy
Yeah.
type of situations. Like
Yeah.
then whenever they made food for us out in the fields and we would get like the green totes, I don't know if you know a lot about this, but sometimes like if the cooks stay at the DFAC and they prepare food for people out in the fields, we'll get like these green containers for our food, so we're not eating MREs every single day, right? And it's just something that the unit would kind of do. I remember getting there and we opened it up and we looked at the eggs and we shook the eggs and it was literally like fucking rubber just jiggling. Oh yeah, dude, and it tasted rubbery too. Like it was like a thick piece of rubber that you were eating. Yeah, so it was just kind of like that's kind of like the type of food we're eating. You know what I mean? Now, I did have a friend who worked at the SF DFAC or Special Forces DFAC at Carson, and that food is fucking amazing. Like we were able to go there once, and that shit was fucking amazing. Like their food tastes so much better than like normal DFACs. Now, also throughout later in my career, the food, from my understanding, because I stopped eating at the DFAC, obviously.
Right,
From my understanding, the food got a little bit better. But I've also seen how cooks cook the food. A lot of it is like prepackaged, and you just add water. You know what I mean? I'm not saying everything, but a lot of the foods that they would do was like that. Then, obviously, for like Thanksgiving, you would get like the turkeys, and you would have your leadership, like your Sergeant Major and BC serving food, doing that type of stuff.
Yeah.
There's always something like that. Then obviously, if you get like foods that you normally don't get on a random day, like ice cream or fucking like lobster or steak,
Yeah.
like a legitimately nice steak, like when it's like nice food, something is about to happen.
could see that.
No,
for
like
you guys.
Yeah, for us,
Yeah.
that's legitimately like, at least from all my experiences, every time they start serving us that type of stuff, that's when we like literally the next day we found out we were going to Afghanistan. Like my buddy was like, dude, we just had fucking lobster and steak, and like they had like nice ice cream, like not the shitty that you just pull the lever and
Yeah.
you just get that kind of like soft serve shit. No, this was like nice ice cream. Like, and I was like, oh, that's weird. You know what I mean? Then the next day we got told, hey, we're going to Afghanistan. It originally was supposed to be Iraq, but they're like, no, we're going to Afghanistan. And we're like, oh, oh.
You motherfucker.
So it's just kind of one of those things. Like, so
those telltale signs. Yeah.
something's happening. That's usually a good indicator, at least from our experiences. What about you? How was your defect experiences?
Yeah. No, it's kind of the same. Well, not 100%, but yeah. I don't know. I thought the food wasn't horrible, and we would have the special days too. I mean,
Yeah.
we would have the surf and turf, but it didn't. For us, it didn't mean anything. I know because we never had any deployments go out or anything after the fact. They would just do it like once a month or some shit. But yeah, we had our snack line and we had our main line, depending on what you felt like for the day, or if you wanted fish, or if you wanted a burger, or you wanted spaghetti.
You would have your separate lines.
Yeah. So I don't know. At the time, I didn't think it was really that bad. I mean, it was free, right? When I wasn't married, you know, it was
Free. They take your BAS.
Yeah, yeah. You still got to pay for it, but no cash in my pocket. But I don't know. I thought it wasn't horrible. Some things were better than others, obviously. And then once I got married, I didn't eat at it anymore, except for there was one time, and of course being deployed is different because everybody eats. But I think it was down in Texas. I went with one of my buddies, went over to the DFAC to get some food because I was like, well, let's see if anything's changed. No, it still tasted like shit. But there was one time where was I at? I was TDY somewhere. I think it was, I can't remember where, but it was like, but we were like doing field ops stuff. I know it was when I was with the combat mobility guys because we were always out doing stuff, doing airdrops for the Army. So they were like, yeah, we're gonna have breakfast for you guys, you know, before you guys go out and do whatever. I was like, cool. So I went to the tent and it was all fucking MRE food. Just dump it out and cook it up in the fucking thing. And I was like, oh, this is kind of nice, you know. And I grabbed it and like same the rubbery shit and all this. And I was like, what in the fuck? And then a guy I was with was friends with one. They're like, yeah, that's all MRE shit, man. Like, this ain't real food. It's
not. No.
I was like, man, fuck.
So it's kind of also weird because I only went through one Air Force defect. I was at Osan, right?
Oh.
I only did that once at Osan. Other than that, I was eating MREs the whole time.
Yeah.
But we went to Osan and we didn't know how it worked in your guys' defects. It was kind of weird to us, and because it had two lines, it came out. There's a center, and there was a cashier at the end.
Mm-hmm.
They had like their own little cashier section, right?
Yep.
We would go to the cashier section, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't know we had to pay. No one told us we had to pay. We were just, we're just going to go get some fucking chow. Yeah. And it was depending on what you fucking got on your plate.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the Army where, hey, I want this, and they just take out the same amount, right? And so they only charged us from our BAS what we got on our plate. So that was really fucking weird to us because the Army, you get your food, you move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like we didn't have to go up to someone because we started walking past them. Like, hey, what are you guys doing? We're like, we're gonna go fucking sit down. You know what I mean? They're like, you guys need to pay. And we're like, what the fuck do you mean we gotta pay? Like,
yeah.
And like, I think I spent like, mine was like only $3 for like the whole thing.
Well,
and I only had a couple of things. It was a very weird moment because we're like, what do we do? Like, we didn't know how it worked.
Well, it's funny that you say that because in Mountain Home, when I was eating at the DFAC, it was the same way. Like, you just got food and you went and you sat down and you ate. You didn't pay nothing. You just got your food and you went and ate.
And you guys got to pick your food, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, you didn't have somebody serving it to you.
No, they did. They did. Just
except for like certain things, yeah.
Yeah. And when I went to Alaska one time, it was Elmendorf, which was an Air Force base, right? And we went in there and we were only getting $3.50 a day for food, which, okay, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen that again. But it was like, okay, so we went to the DFAC to get some food the first time we were there, the first time we went over, the first day. And they had somebody at the end, they're like ringing everything up and they're like, okay, it'd be this. And fuck, dude, like for $3.50 a day, you cannot eat 3 times a day.
No.
On that shit. Like I went to the commissary and bought a few things for, breakfast and lunch or whatever, because we'd be out there because I was helping maintenance guys tear apart planes and shit, right? So I'd be like, okay, breakfast and lunch was already taken care of, and then dinner would be there. But dude, you can only get like a couple of small things, and then you're done for the day. And we complained about it because it's like, how the fuck are you gonna pay us $3.50 a day, but you can't even get a meal for $3.50 at the fucking chow hall?
And that's, I think, what our thought was too, was like, they gave us with whatever, because usually that's how it goes. Like, obviously in the Army you can pick certain things, but for the most part they just dump it onto your tray and that's what you're eating. You hop in that one line, at least from my experiences, it was kind of like that. Like, I didn't really get to choose a whole lot. Like, you go in one line, you're going to get everything that's in that line. Then you eat whatever the fuck you eat. So I guess that's kind of weird. So when we got to pick and choose every little fucking thing we wanted, and they're like, it's this. And we're like, oh, but we don't carry cash on us because we scan our card, and that's what charges our BAS, especially when we were in Korea. So we were like, what the fuck? Like, we didn't know we had to bring money, and so we all like. We eventually figured something out. I don't remember what we figured out, but it was just kind of one of those things like, we didn't know what the fuck to do. So there's a lot of differences between our lives.
There are.
Lifestyles.
So just remember that, kids. Whatever you guys decide to do, if you're thinking about joining the military, we don't have any Navy or Marines with us or Coast Guard, but if I was you, I'd probably go into the Air Force. One of more bougier experience.
Or Space Force. We don't know how Space Force is anymore
Space Force
either.
Too, yeah, because
if it's anything like the TV show, that shit's fucking cush.
Yeah.
No, but and honestly, they both have their benefits. I think with you guys, it's more relaxed and whatnot. I don't know if the Brotherhood is as close. Depending on probably the situations. Compared to like us infantry guys, how we pretty much eat, sleep, pee, shower, everything together for everything. You know what I mean? So I think like we sleep outside together. I can't tell you how many times I've shared a fucking whoopee. If you don't know what whoopee is God's best thing he ever created. I fucking love whoopies, dude. But anyways, like, I've shared whoopies, I've shared fucking tarps with people, I've shared a lot of different things just, for one, so we can keep each other warm. I know that sounds gay as hell, but when it's fucking cold and your balls are all the way up in your fucking throat and you're fucking shivering, and the infantry, then that's the other thing, is the infantry, a lot of the times in a lot of places, don't allow you to use the cold weather gear you're issued.
That's weird too.
And the reason being is so that you embrace the suck. Now, obviously, they allow you to for the certain situations, but I know when I was like a lower enlisted, we weren't allowed to for a lot of things. Like, obviously, we're allowed to have our beanies. Our beanies were like our favorite thing to fucking have. You never forget your fucking beanie.
Yes.
Some people were able to get away with the smoker's jacket. What we call a smoker jacket. It's pretty much a whoopee, but it cuts off at like the arms and it hides under your uniform. Right? Like, we were allowed to wear the silkies and the waffle tops, but as soon as we started any movement to a training objective or anything, we had to take that shit off. So
is that for like constraint purposes or whatever?
No. So when you're doing long distance movements, especially when you're walking, you're wearing thermals and the waffles, you're gonna sweat, and then it can cause you to have hyperthermia. It can cause a lot of different. It can pretty much cause you to be a heat casualty too. It's like cold in the mornings, but it warms up throughout the day.
Yeah.
So we just got in the habit of not wearing that shit. If you wanted to be warm, go get butt ass naked in your fucking sleeping bag at night when you weren't pulling radio guard. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, yeah, dude, if you have you ever slept in sleeping bags? Like, did you wear clothes when you were in it?
I wore underwear and a t-shirt.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
But you were pretty fucking warm, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Dude,
yeah.
So like I said, I've slept in snow, and I've had it where it sleeted while we were setting up the sleep system or our sleeping area, and then it's snowing that night. For one, snow's a fucking insulator, so that's gonna get you warm anyways.
Yeah.
But like, if you get butt ass naked, like, and you bring your weapon in, your weapon won't freeze. For one, two, your boots won't freeze because I always kept my boots at the bottom of my sleeping bag. Because, like, again, I didn't want snakes, spiders, or other stupid shit in there, so I kept that shit in there, but I also kept it where it wouldn't freeze. Then what I would do is I would put a whoopee in there, right, and I would sleep on my clothes I was going to wear for the next day, and that shit would keep that shit warm. So when I open up my bag, I freeze a little bit, then I start putting my clothes on, and then I get out of my fucking bag and I put it away. So there's like small tricks that I learned to keep myself warmer. Fucking, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of different, that's a whole different topic we can go on to, is different ways we're able to make things bougie for us. So, yeah. But yeah, like for infantry world, at least I know, like, because we eat shit and sleep together constantly, we're always adapting, and I think the brotherhood is a little bit closer.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
No, I'm not saying that like you guys don't have brotherhood or anything like that. I think it's a different type.
No, it is. We actually, because I don't know. I've never been one to keep like a whole fuck ton of friends.
Yeah.
So I have two friends that I made when I was in the Air Force, and we've been friends. Met them in Japan. We've been friends ever since. They actually just came out not too long ago for a visit. So, and I'm going. One's in Vegas. One's in Michigan. Going to Michigan later this year to go see him, and then I was going back and forth to Vegas and the other guys. We're here. It's a lot closer and easier. So everybody else, yeah, I keep in touch with some here and there. That's the only real true brotherhood that I've formed, with guys in the Air Force.
Well, and I think I know I need to do better on that aspect of it too. I'm working on it. I have my brothers that I talk to all the time. I'm pretty close with a lot of my guys that I do talk to. I don't talk to them all the time. I know I've kind of quit talking to quite a few, not just because like I don't want to talk to them, it's just because life gets busy.
Yeah.
One of those situations, you know what I mean? But since we're on this topic, it's probably about time we got to wrapping this up.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, check on your brothers and sisters. Reach out to them. You never know if you need them, if they need you. Like, I know a lot of us combat dudes we do deal with the PTSD stuff, and sometimes just checking in on people isn't always a bad idea. So, and if you don't got anybody like that in your life, and you are thinking about suicide or just needing someone to talk to or anything like that, dial 988. It's the United States' Veterans and Military Crisis Line. After you dial 988, press 1, or you can text 838-255. Those are some numbers that you guys can reach out to if you guys actually need the help or just need something to help you deal with those demons that we all got. Look out for each other. Reach out. We're stronger when we're together.
Absolutely.
It's welcome to our podcast. If this is your first time listening, we're fairly new to this. So let us know what you guys would like to hear from us. We would love to hear from what you guys think. If you guys need to reach out to us, especially if you're having a PTSD shit. I'm more than happy to listen. Then thank you again to Doobie for sponsoring us. We appreciate it. Again, if you want to try Doobie Energy, our code is what again, Jason?
The Soulless Bits.
The Soulless
Save
Bits.
10%. Yeah, on your order.
And that is it for today. Thank you again. Please join us next time. This is the Soulless Vet TV or podcast.
Podcast, yes.
Sorry, not TV, podcast.
Yes.
I am Austin, the Soulless Johnson, and with me is
Jason the Mustache Tolbert.
again. Thank you, and see you guys next time.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.